Hi, and welcome to Living Title IX with Betsy. That's me! The month of October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and we are finishing up this month talking about stalking. And while stalking has a separate definition than dating or domestic violence in the Title IX world, there is always, or often, I guess, some type of overlap with stalking and dating and domestic violence. So I want to spend some time here this week and talk about the prevalence, what we're seeing, and also what the definition of stalking is under Title IX. So let's start there. I'm going to pull out the handy dandy regs because that's where we always need to go when we're talking about Title IX, and give you the definition. So stalking means engaging in a course of conduct directed at a specific person that would cause a reasonable person to fear for that person's safety or the safety of others, or to suffer substantial emotional distress. So there's a lot we have to unpack there, but let's start with a course of conduct. And when we're thinking about Cleary and VAWA and the intersection of all of them, it's always helpful to go and look at the definitions that might come from there as well. So we pulled course of conduct from there, and it means two or more acts in which a person, directly or through a third party, follows, monitors, surveils, threatens, or communicates to or about a person with or with a person's property. And so what I want us to be thinking about here is it's two or more acts, and it can be electronic, it can be through a third party, it can be through social media, it can be in person. We don't necessarily see that course of conduct as someone jumping out of the bushes, but we often might see it as someone waiting at a parking spot or waiting at a locker or trying to get in all of the same classes as someone else, or just different types of behaviors that when compounded would cause a reasonable person to fear for the safety of themselves or for the safety of others, or suffer substantial emotional distress. And what I want to talk about with regard to the fear is I'm a person who I don't really like to say I'm scared. And so what that means in this element is that we have to think about not necessarily am I saying that I'm scared, but what behaviors am I having that might lead to a reasonable person to believe that I am scared or in fear. And those types of things might be I'm changing where I'm driving every day. I'm changing my pathways in a school building or on a campus, how I get to my classes. I'm parking in different places every day. Even just like I'm watching and anxious all around me about what's happening. So those types of things might indicate that there is fear without someone coming out and saying, I'm scared, because sometimes actually saying those words makes it a reality and makes it even more traumatic for an individual experiencing it. And also, suffering substantial emotional distress does not mean that someone is in the hospital or having suicidal ideations or something like that. It just means that they are suffering emotionally, right? Like they are having some type of experience that is causing them trauma, or is causing them to need to see a counselor maybe, or is really just causing anxiety for them. So it is not this really super duper high standard, but it certainly is substantial emotional distress and just not limited to really minor things. All right, so I've given you the definition. We've talked about some of the behaviors. Some of the other things that we might want to be looking for include how a student is doing academically in their classes. It might be an indicator that perhaps something else is going on, or them quitting or stopping some type of extracurricular activity or involvement. And so we just need to be thinking about how this behavior is impacting them in a bigger lens. So let me give you a few statistics about stalking. So this comes from the National Intimate Partner and Sex Violence Survey. And the data that I have says that 1 in 3 women experience some type of stalking in their lifetime. 1 in 6 men experience some type of stalking in their lifetimes. And of those 1 in 3 women, 24% said that they experienced some of the stalking as a minor, and 58% of those women said that they experienced it before the age of 25. So we're really thinking about the students that are in our campuses or on our campuses and in our schools, where a majority of this behavior is at least initiating. And then for men, it is 19% were a male victim as a minor, and 49% of the male victims experienced some type of stalking before the age of 25. So those are some pretty significant numbers for us to think about in protecting the students on our campuses. 80% of males and 69% of females said that this stalking included some type of threat of physical harm. So again, it's not just the interaction over the internet or interaction with social media or on text messaging. It also includes potential threats of harm. And so we know also that there is a relationship between stalking and post-traumatic stress, hopelessness, depression, and anxiety. So this is something that's really important and we have to be responding to appropriately in our schools and on our campuses. I'm just going to wrap up by saying it's been an honor and a pleasure to be with you for this month and talk about this really hard topic, but make sure that you are taking care of yourself while responding to this type of behavior. And as I finish, don't forget to comment Mugshot. We're going to highlight our Mugshot of the week. Woohoo! This is a really fun thing for us to do and to share with you all and to experience this new Living Title IX series with all of our community. So make sure that you comment and subscribe, like all of the things to this YouTube channel, and celebrate the small things, laugh at yourself, and support each other. You've got this. Have a great week.